Welcome to the One Player Podcast, the show on solitaire games. Albert, and this is episode 383.
Albert, hit me! Hit me again!
Bam!
Not that kind of hit me. Ow!
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that, Julius. I just,
I gave Albert an opportunity for violence, and he grabbed it willingly.
Yeah, you just wanted another card or something like that, I guess. Whoops.
Yes, Albert. Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah. Who knew we were talking about games?
We are talking today about Emerald Skulls, a push your luck gambling style type game where you are rolling some dice to be able to score big from combos with your dice. And it very much feels like, hit me with the dice, pass out the dice when you're playing.
Cool, okay. And this is not a cooperative game at all, but it supports 1 to 6 players.
Correct.
Ah, okay.
It is not at all cooperative. It is quite competitive, very highly interactive. Well, suppose not highly interactive. You have a lot to do a lot of the time. You're very often interacting with the game, perhaps less so with other players.
Ah, okay. And I've not really heard of this game, though I have seen pictures of it at the game store, and every time I see it, the box art grabs me and say, "Hey, this looks cool. What is this?"
It's a skulls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's colorful and creepy, and it's got these big green dice on it that are creepy.
Yeah. So let's start talking about the game some, eh?
Okay. All right. Let's start with the components or something like that?
Sure. Let's start with the components. So the game starts out, the basic point of the game are these 7 custom dice. There are 7 dice that almost could have been pip dice because it's 1 through 5 on the different sides, and the 6th is a wild side, a skull. Instead of using pips, they use hash marks, evocative of the theme, I guess, or just to make it cooler and more custom. But it's 1 through 5 with the 6th side being a wild. Those dice are really the core of the game because you're going to be rolling those. There is a board where when you roll, you will place the dice on the board. That board, so there's slots for the 1, the 2, the 3. There are 2 slots for 4 and 1 slot for 5 on that board. And so you'll fill those up as you're going through the course of the game. That board also lists the payouts, the types of ways that a turn can end, and how much it costs to buy in on dice to try and get lucky with your push your luck if that's the turn that you're taking. So the game is going to be split that always there's going to be one person who has the dice who's going to be rolling them and trying to get the coolest combo they can get. Shout out Yahtzee if they do it or whatever it is. Everyone else is going to be having betting tokens. As a person is rolling, they're going to be placing their betting tokens. So everyone has these 2 chunky wooden blocks of that player's color. And there's going to be a set of betting cards that are going to be arrayed around the main skull board. You'll go and place your betting tokens on one of those, and you could just do it any time other than between the person who rolls and the person decides to keep going. You could just place them out on any of those. And so you're trying to say, hey, I think that he's going to bust, or I think he's going to win big, or whatever it is. You put out the betting token. The person who succeeds, they get paid back, and everyone else who has those betting tokens on the thing gets stuff back. So there are those betting tokens, these big chunky wooden discs, and those betting cards that show what it is that you're betting on. The currency of the game is these gear tokens, and they're just standard chipboard gears. There is a deluxe set of metal gears, which I do not have. The standard chipboard gears were perfectly fine for me. There are player aid cards, and there are reroll cubes. The reroll cubes are just plain green plastic cubes. They're not cool at all, but that's okay, fine. It is what it is.
Oh, I think I recognize those. Those were from Pandemic Season 2.
Yeah, they're from all over the place. They're a very common plastic green cube. And then there's a deck of cards for mimicking the solo bot. We'll come back to that once I've discussed the rest of the game. But other than that, it fits in a small little box, but that is the entirety of the game's components.
Yeah, and just, the boxes are about the same size as cartographers, right? So that's pretty small. Maybe even smaller.
Yeah, I'd say it's even smaller. It's a small box.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so yeah, not a lot of components, but they're very colorful,
They
very
are
very
indeed.
fun to look at, especially those wooden chunky bid things.
Yes, they're nice. The components are all really nice. The custom dice are really nice. The chunky wood things, they have a nice click and a nice heft for them. The folding skull board is cardboard, lays on the table nicely, helps everyone sort where it is that they're going, what is that they're doing. The cards are all relatively easy to see. I'll come back more about maybe deciphering them when we get back to that in gameplay, but they're big, they're iconized, they're relatively clear. I think they're generally easy to understand. So yeah.
All right. Well, components are pretty simple and straightforward. I don't think I have any more comments on them.
So let's talk about the theme of the game for a minute. The theme of the game is that you are playing that this is the role player universe, so you're playing the game that these people in prison are playing, and they just do it to have fun. So you're just doing it to have fun, I guess. Um, and it's supposed to be this idea that you're in the role player prison world. Okay, sure. Like there's no real like there's no stakes. There's no nothing about it. It's a role play. It's just a dice rolling game. The theme does not come on. Like they're trying to shove it into their role player universe, and they have successfully shoved it into their role player universe. It is entirely unnecessary. The theme is you're playing a betting game, and that is the entirety of what is going on. Yep. So it absolutely is exactly what it is. Um, yeah. So the theme is nonsense. I was not a huge fan of the theme, but I'm also not a huge fan of the role player world. Like they keep shoving stuff into it. Fortunately, the game's so. Moving on to the rules. Um, the rules are representing again. I've mentioned that essentially there's the two types of turns you're going to be taking. There's the turn where you're rolling dice, and there's the turn where you're making bets. And but for example, in a two-player game, it's going to be alternating where you take a turn as the gambler and you take this excuse me as the bettor, and you take a game as the dice roller, and you just are sort of taking turns doing that. When you are the dice and the game, I realize I'm getting onto gameplay. The rules present both of those type of turns well. The rules are not very confusing until you get into some of the more difficult rules. And I really feel like I just need to get into gameplay for it. So I'm just going to jump straight into gameplay. You okay with that, Albert?
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think so. I mean, comments on the rulebook, it looks nice. It everything seems to be lined up
Yeah,
pretty well and all that, and organized. There's a bunch of reference stuff
yeah.
at the end,
Rules were perfectly
So
fine. Oh, yeah, it is important to notice that there is a whole bunch of references for all the advanced cards at the end of the rules. But I really will get back to those advanced cards because it's going to be a point to mine. So,
oh yeah,
in terms of gameplay, you will have a turn where you are betting. Where you are rolling. When you are rolling, you roll the dice. You can pick any one type of die. So pick all ones, all twos, all threes, whatever it is. You always have to keep going up. So you can never pick a number that is lower than dice you have. So if you've previously rolled threes, you must pick either three, four, five, or a wild. Well, wherever it goes. But you can never go lower down.
and so that rolling mechanism you're talking about, that you got to get
Yeah,
higher. That's a
that's
pretty standard thing in a lot of betting games, right? It's like a
exactly.
ladder
It's a
climbing
push your
thing.
luck thing. The higher level ones are more profitable, so you'll want to push your luck and get those, but you want to maximize your time on the lower ones because there's a limited number of slots at the higher ones. I mentioned you can only put down 2 4s and 1 5. Yeah, that's all you can do. So you want to maximize your lower ones, but you're pushing your luck because maybe you want to jump to the higher ones. You you your payouts are better if you use all of your dice. So when you're going, you have a choice of how much money it is that you want to spend to get some dice. If you want to go for all seven, it costs you 10 gears. But if you only go for the base three, it's free. So you're theoretically straight gambling, where you're giving up some money to purchase dice and then hoping that you roll well and can make good use of those dice to be able to place them all out and get a whole bunch of stuff and make good return on your money. So there's a lot of risk when you're doing the rolling thing. So that is very much the gambling side of it. And when you're rolling, there are certain like jackpot type rolls that you can do. So like if you exactly have 3 1s or 2s, a 3, 2 4s, and a 5, so and that's a total of 7 dice. That's like a jackpot roll, and you just have you get a ton of gears for that. So you are constantly trying to aim for that, sometimes defaulting down to other things based on what it is that you get. So it is very gambly. It is very risky when you're doing those things because you may spend 10 gears to try and go for that and only make back 5 because you bust or because you chicken out and don't even spend all of your dice or who knows what. So it is very risky being the person who is rolling the dice. Perhaps in contrast, the people who are betting with absolutely no risk. They don't have to spend anything to bet. You have 2 bet tokens. Whatever you bet, if you are correct, you get. If you aren't correct, you don't lose. At max, maybe someone else has a counter bet, and their counter bet in the advanced rules, their counter bet is stacked so that they get more because they bet against what it is that you bet. But that's the most amount of interactions that they get. There's no risk associated with them. It's not like maybe they're going to get a thing and who knows what's going to happen. It doesn't apply. There is no risk associated.
What do you get if you win a bet? If you're just betting, not if you're rolling?
You're betting, so it depends on each of the different things. If, for instance, you bet that a person's going to get a jackpot, you can make like 10 or 15. If you're betting that they're going to bust, you may make like 5 or 3.
But you're getting
gears
or
yeah,
points?
The goal, I realize I forgot.
Gears, okay.
So the
gears are the points.
The goal is to have the most gears when all of the gears are dispersed.
Got it. Okay.
So whoever has the most gears at the end of the game, they are going to be the winner.
So that makes sense. So yeah, so when you're just betting, you're saying, "Hey, I'm gonna see if I could get the most points by guessing right." And when you're rolling, then you're saying, "I'm trying to get points by rolling well." But every time you're just trying to get more points.
That's how that works. So you're always trying to roll well, but that's as the roll. The person who is betting on you, they have no risk associated with what it is that they're doing, even though they are called the bettor, which I thought was very much a misnomer. They're not actually betting anything. They're just using one of their betting tokens to try and guess what they think is going to happen. But they don't have any risks at all associated with what it is that they're thinking is going to happen, right? Because they just have those 2 betting tokens. And they have that opportunity. They have 2 opportunities every round to do a thing. And if they're wrong, they just don't make money that round. But it's not like they lose out anything from not having successfully guessed what is going to happen, especially because if you guess wrong, one of the reasons why you guess wrong is because the person who's rolling rolled poorly. So it's entirely their fault. It's not your fault that what happened.
I guess when you're betting, can you win on both cards then, or just on both of your betting chips, or just
you can win on both of them because you can bet both things.
For instance, both could win.
Yeah, like if you bet the person takes a jackpot and that they don't bust, for example.
Okay, so that's the type of thing. You're not betting on what they get, just on how well they do. You did say that. Okay.
And there's all sorts of different betting cards that you can have when you're betting. So I find it funny that is the person who's called betting, because almost the terminology for it makes it think that they are the person who is putting down risk for it. But really, there's almost no risk. That's just the pure fun because you're not risking anything for it. Whereas the person who is spending money to take dice, they can end up really setting themselves back. Because if you're spending 10 gears to get all 7 and then you bust, you really timed things down. You slowed yourself down a whole bunch. And they're the ones who are really doing risk.
You're better not doing anything. Yeah, better off just passing or something like that. Okay. And even then, because of the way the mechanic works, where you're placing your chip down on what you think, it feels like you're gambling. Right. It feels like betting.
But it's not.
Right. Passive betting, but it feels like it. But it's not. That's pretty cool. That's really clever because it's a betting game that's just
Right.
simplified
And
down to the
generally, I
results. That's
enjoy
cool.
games where you're not actually gambling. Push your luck games, you're not actually gambling with
Hmm.
anything other than your turn. Gambling is normally that if you lose, you lose the money that you had. But you come with 100 and you often walk out with 0. Push your luck games is you started with 0, and if you lose, you just stay at 0. Or you start at 100, if you lose, you just stay at 100. It's not that you go down to 0. Whereas the person who's actually gambling is the gambler is actually the person rolling the dice, and none of it really makes that clear. And that can be, perhaps as you think about it as you play the game, a little bit of a misalignment, I guess would be the best way to say,
Okay.
just in terms of
Yep.
how that works.
Yeah. So okay, and so that's the whole game right there. Then
Yeah,
there's nothing else to it. It sounds
and
like
you just
mechanically, it's your
keep
plays. Plays
mm-hmm,
bets. The
mm-hmm.
person rolls, and
Yeah,
then go
place
on.
bets, see how much money. Whoever has the most money when the money runs out wins the game. And then that's it, and then you restart. Um,
Wow. Okay, that's
in
super
terms
easy.
of the solo mode,
Yeah, I want to hear this because you claim
yeah,
it works as a
I
solo game.
claim it. Do I? Um, in terms of the solo mode is just you are only ever taking the dice rolling turns. The the betting turns are handled by a set of cards where you flip over a set of cards, and the you're playing against two phantom opponents, two automa type opponents
Hmm.
that will determine what it is that they're betting based on the cards that come their um, out of their deck. So, for instance, you'll flip
Okay.
over and they'll bet on jackpot and bust, for example. And so you'll put their betting tokens, a jackpot and a bust, and if you hit those, then they make money, and if you don't, then you make money. They get to start with some extra gears because they're not as good as a human player who doesn't get to start with 0. So they get a bonus
Hmm.
over you, um, and your goal is to still, even though they start with extra, still have more than them. In order to have more than them, that does mean that you generally have to make more than 60 while giving them less than 20. So it's not particularly easy,
Oh, okay.
and you have to play around with it to be able to get it to go well.
Okay. Are they choosing what to bet on? Is it 100% arbitrary, or is there some sort of the cards would have some sort of rule like
No,
if this is the current state, then
no
bet on
ifs,
this, otherwise bet
no
that.
ifs. It's
No,
flip a
just
card, and it
arbitrary.
does the
Okay.
thing. That is it.
Okay. So it sounds that doesn't sound as fun as a multiplayer
Only
game then,
because, yeah, you're
because
missing
you're
out on
missing
that
out that
betting opportunity.
big part.
The dice rolling is still quite fun
Hmm.
because I will say the idea of hit me and let me do my press my luck again. It just becomes a press your luck game with betting where you can lose, but it becomes that press your luck game. So if you're a fan of things like Can't Stop, Yahtzee, any of those type of games where you are pressing your luck trying to get a lucky dice roll, it's fun. It's fun to sit and roll dice and see if you do well. But yeah, the game is not highly strategic. It's a fun dice rolling game.
No, I imagine that as a multiplayer game, I'm gonna play more rounds than as a solo game in a single sitting. Like if I'm playing solo, I'm gonna once or twice, and I feel kind of done. But if I'm playing with a group, I think it might be fun to play five or
And
six
that is
times
exactly what happens.
easily.
Yep.
Okay. So it sounds like this is a pretty good group game. It's okay, passable
Well,
solo
I
game.
still think it's a good solo game. Just I think that you're going to get more legs out of it as a group game. It is designed more as a group game, but as a solo game, it is a fun little
Hmm.
plus your luck dice rolling game where all of where you just handle the one side. It's half of the experience that you get in the multiplayer.
Okay.
I do want to come back to the advanced ones.
Yeah.
So the game is relatively simple right now. There's just the 4 bet cards that come out. You can go to advanced bets. There are, and I hate calling them bets because you're not betting, but that's fine. Advanced predictions. Advanced bet cards. Um, if you take out the advanced bet cards, Normally, it's the same exact type of bets. You've got the jackpots, you've got the bust, you've got the finish. With the advanced ones, it sometimes gives you options that sometimes you don't. So, like the jackpots may be different. What exact jackpots are in the game may be different. What exact type of busts are in the game might be different. So those start changing up on the different type of games, so you don't have access to all of them. You also have access to much more complicated type of bets, where, for example, the bet is that they have to jackpot and also place no wild dice, or they have to have only even dice and no odd dice, or they have to have at least three nose dice put out. Just a bunch of different, more complicated things. Those complicated things are
Okay. They don't sound all that complicated, really. Is it the what makes them advanced? Is it that you're trying to do it off
what's more advanced is
iconography or
that they're
something like that?
more they are more complicated than a simple did he bust or did he not, right?
Yeah, but not too complicated.
They are
They
pretty
still seem
simple.
pretty
No,
simple.
you'll still pick it up, but the
Okay.
iconography is there, but it's not plainly obvious without having to go consult with the references. The the idea of what it
Got it. Okay.
is takes a reference, and then you have to go around teaching it. And for a game that is this light, I I just wish there was a better iconographic version for some of these. I can associate the icon. I can associate the idea of the card once I read the card, but at least for me, I'm not at a level where I'm able to say, "Hey, it's obvious what this one does." So you kind of have to teach every one of them. Inevitably, someone's like, "Oh, I didn't understand. I could bet on that," or someone's like, "Wait, last game when we had all the standard ones, I could bet on the person busting, but now my bet is not that he busts. My bet is that he still has at least two dice when he busts." And you have to make some of those jumps, and people have to realize what's going on.
Yeah, and the bet those betting cards, they have icons on them, right? And then they have titles, and they kind of don't really mean anything. They're all thematic. And maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit with especially the icons, but like for example, something here is called. It's got a picture of a jewel, and it's called Final Jewel. I have no idea what that means right now. Maybe that you bet
Yeah,
on the five or something.
they do have the opportunity to
Um.
place their jewel move final spell, but put the 5 up.
Okay. Yeah. How about denied visage? Right. See, it's got a picture of a goblin's face crossed out, and then it's called denied visage. That doesn't
Yeah,
mean a whole lot, right? So yeah, it's very thematic, I guess. Yeah, but it doesn't help for the gameplay.
yeah, it's hard.
It helps for the person
Yeah,
reading the rulebook.
it's the
Uh,
advanced bets are complicated enough that I wish there was a better iconographic method of expressing them so that I didn't have to go teach the rulebook every time I
yeah.
pulled them out. Especially because there's a
Or just put the text out on the card because it's not that much description for the most part.
it's a fair amount of description, like the one you just picked, denied visage. You'd have to cut down the amount of text because the full text of that is collect gears if they end their turn with a gem out with exactly one die on each level.
Requires five
Right?
dice.
That's a fair amount of text.
That fits on a card. It may be. Magic cards have a lot more text than that. Just saying.
Maybe. But yeah, the
but
advanced
yeah,
cards, as much as I like them and I want them to be there, yeah, they need.
it it slows you down a little bit. Also because there's a lot more. It looks like the basic ones is one page of basic things and then 3 pages of advanced stuff. So it's also a lot more.
Yeah,
So it's easy. One, two, three, four, five, six. So there's 8 basic ones to remember. That seems like pretty easy in the game. How long does the game last actually? When does it end?
like 30 minutes or so.
Okay. What triggers the end of the game?
34 minutes. When gears run out.
Oh, okay. Nice and simple. Okay, well, it sounds like a fun game. It sounds really exciting. I don't think I'm going to buy it for primarily solo play. I will pass up on it. So I'm glad I
I kind
didn't
of
pick it up.
recommend that, yes.
I saw it at the game, so I said, this looks pretty cool. And I picked it up and I put it down every single time. And I'm glad I did, I guess.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Well, that is Emerald Skulls, and I think that I'm done with having it sitting here on the desk grinning at me.
Yeah. I think this one has gone bust on me.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy playing with my kids. I
Yeah,
think that it's a very fun family game, but yeah, I think for solo, it's hard to work.
right. I'm primarily playing solo or two player, and it sounds like this is probably better at four or more. It
Two
goes up to
players, not
six.
bad. Two
Yeah.
players, not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it goes up to six players,
I
and
play with
there's
my son. That's fun.
oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll try it at the game store. There's also an expansion for it to add more players,
Yeah, two more players.
so you could get it up to 8 people. That's pretty neat.
And it doesn't bog down even when you're doing that because everyone is egging on and the turns go pretty fast. So yeah.
Yeah. So even if the expansion adds a few or gears, I'm sorry, if it adds a few gears and makes the game a little longer, everybody's interacting and bidding, so it's gonna be fun time the whole time for everybody.
Yep, yep.
Cool.
Yep, 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 yep.
All right then. Well, thank you, Julius.
There you go. At that, I'm going to giggle madly as we as we walk away. Have a good evening, Albert.
Bye bye. Excuse you.
Ah,
Stop.
well, Albert.
Thanks for listening. We love feedback, so we love hearing from you. You can reach me at julius@oneplayerpodcast.com or JLBird on BGG, and Albert can be reached at albert@oneplayerpodcast.com or Fractalute on BGG. Our website is oneplayerpodcast.com with the number 1, and we're also on Twitter at oneplayerpodcast. The intro music is copyright Angus, can be found at jamendo.com. The transition music is copyright by Dan Elduce Pancaldi, whose page is at donpancaldi.com. The One Player Podcast is protected under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Thanks for listening.